my Dallas make it hurt.
Welcome in. It is that time of year. It is time for the 2026 Deep Cover Pod first round bracket show. It's become an annual tradition. We are here to do it again this year with a familiar cast of characters. I'm going to introduce everybody in just a second. I'm looking at something on my screen because we decided to go live this year instead of record and post later. Apparently, you got to have a premium account on X to go live. So the YouTube, YouTube live.
I'll put it on X.
Okay, so Coach Evans is going to put it on his X. It is streaming live on DCP YouTube channel. So if you're on YouTube, you should be seeing this. So we got one base covered. Would have been nice if they had told me that when I was actually linking that account, but that's not how it worked. Anyway, trying to get that money. I know how Elon gets down. Right. Anyway. I'm going to introduce our illustrious panel. I'm going to go with illustrious. And I'm just going to go right down as I see them on my screen. First, joining us, James Ogden. His draft guide just went out last week.
Last week.
Last week. So if you haven't tapped in to check that out, it's Ravens focused, Ravens centric. So you should definitely check that out. Of course, you can listen to James with UK Ravens, right?
Yep, 100%.
Okay, and you can check out everything that he's doing. Also follow him on X. Ogden NFL?
NFL Ogden.
Okay, you can tell I'm super prepared. All right, now we're going to move down next in the row. Hey, this is what you get with DCP, man. This is how we get down. Kerry Stevenson, as anybody who's been long time listener of DCP knows Kerry. I'm just going to say Kerry and Chris. I'm going to tag y'all together. How y'all doing, man?
Good, man. I was just joking around before this. I'm like, I have no clue who the Ravens are going to take at 14. So this will be a good exercise and maybe give us a hint. But right now, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. This is a weird year. I haven't felt this way about a Ravens pick, probably since we started doing this. Where I have one guy that I like, but then all the other ones are just like, yeah, I guess so. I guess we could do that. So it's a weird one, but hopefully talking to you guys, it is usually like a therapy session to kind of get through these players and all these different types of scenarios when you hear the different point of views from each of you guys.
And last but not least, certainly not last, probably first in terms of who want to smoke during this little exercise. Coach Tyson Evans, you know him from Sip the Tally Films, from Draft Junkies, from Ravens Roundup. He's just out there doing it as usual. So welcome back, Coach. Appreciate you jumping back in with us.
Appreciate it. Honored to be the honorary side piece for DCP. I'm the fourth member. Technically the fourth member.
You've definitely been on the most. Yeah, you've definitely been on the most. I don't think that's even close. So
you like Redman and Wu-Tang. Like Redman wasn't part of Wu-Tang, but he was always around.
Yeah, because of him and me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to have everybody back. As those of you who are watching will see up on your screen, we got the bracket set up. We have already selected the players that we each are going to make the case for. So you're going to hear about that as it goes along. But Chris, as always, puts together the bracket and does an excellent job with that. I like these matchups. And I don't really know how this is going to go. Some years I have like a lean, like I think this is probably who's going to get through this year. I really don't know. So we're going to talk through it and do what we do. 1 minute. Each of us will have 1 minute to make the case for our player. And then at the end of that, both people will go. And then at the end of that round, we're going to vote and see who goes through to the next round. And, keep doing that until we get to a winner. So are we all ready? Any other words to get in? Anything anybody want to say before we jump this off?
Good luck.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
Everybody grinning right now.
It's going to change quickly. All right, so we're going to go straight down the bracket as I see it up on the screen. So that's going to be starting with the 9th seed against the 8th seed. 9 is Kenya's Sadiq. That'll be who I'm taking, and 8 is Caden Proctor, and I think that's Kerry, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So again, we're just following order. So I'm gonna go first, and then Kerry will go, and then the rest of the panel will be able to vote. So I do need a timer.
I got it.
Okay, Coach got it. And I said a minute. It really is a minute and 15. So we can give us a little extra 15 seconds. Okay. All right, Coach. Ready when you are.
On you go.
All right, here we go. Kenyan Sadiq, tight end out of University of Oregon, right? This has gained a lot of steam in the media streets over the last, it might be a month now, but maybe even a little bit longer. But that pick that projected pick has really picked up a lot of steam. And, on one hand, you say, yeah, Mark Andrews under contract, Durham Smythe, a little bit more of a blocker. So it seems like an immediate thing. There's been a lot of pushback. I've seen a lot of people say, tight end, first round, number 14. No, that's not high. Well, look, just look at the athletic profile. What do you run? A 4.39, jump something crazy in the vert, jump something crazy in the broad. Look at how he blocks off the ball. I know a lot of people like to point to the inline blocking, but look how he blocks off the ball. And they've clearly shown in the past that they know how to use guys in that manner. They did it with Andrews. They did it with Likely. So they can still find a blocking role for him. And I think he can even develop, inline as time goes by. But the key thing to think about with him is forget tight end. He is a weapon, right? Forget the designation as tight end. And if I told you could get one of the most dangerous weapons in this class at 14 to help this offense, you would take that, right? It's just a tight end designation that trips people up. But this guy is not just that. He is a weapon.
Time.
There you go.
So next up is Caden Proctor and Kerry. It is whenever you start talking, I'll hit the button.
Okay. All right, I'm ready. So Caden Proctor, massive player. People mover in the run game, ability to anchor and pass pro. True junior, not even 21 years old yet. So you're getting him where you can get that second contract and feel good enough about him being not even in his prime when that second contract hit. And if he's good enough to get you a third contract, you're less scared that he's going to hit the cliff. With him, you got a potential left tackle in waiting. You got a guy that you can plug in at guard in the meantime and kind of mitigate some of his issues with space and speed rushers. And it's an attitude pick, an impose your will kind of pick. This guy is somebody that at his best, he shows the difference between strength and just pure power. You know where you can't impose your will? With a tight end that you can't play in line. Not going to be able to oppose your will with that kind of pick. So that's all I got for you.
You just go end it with hate. Just go straight hate.
The first left hook just came out.
Just straight to the hate. We're not even gonna tiptoe around it. Okay. Hey, it is what it is. All right. So now, I almost forgot. I was like, dang, what happened? I was like dazed for a minute. Okay, we got to go and do the vote now. All right. So again, I'm gonna go from left to right on my screen as I see it. So I'm gonna start with Coach. Coach, you heard both arguments. Who you going with?
I'm doing this just to see how this falls out. I'm being Mike today. I'm going Caden Proctor. I'm going Caden Proctor. Inside, outside versatility. So I'm going Caden Proctor.
Dang, you gonna hit me with my own game. It's messed up. All right, James, you're up next. James, what do you think? Who do you have moving forward?
I've really struggled with Sadiq over the course of the process, and I've now got a post out there that's being used as like anti-Sadiq propaganda whenever they want, and it was a bit more nuanced than that. I do have some concerns about, like, I know the role he can play, and I'm like, you can see it so clearly when you watch his tape. I do have some concerns about the makeup of the room. I think if they took Sadiq, there needs to be another move at tight end at some point down the line, but for me, he is just far and away he's far and away the better player right now, and has a higher ceiling, I think, than Proctor. So I would be going with Sadiq in this matchup.
That comes down.
There you go. James learn how to play. James learn how to play the game, baby.
That's how you do it.
So I do like Proctor. A couple of weeks ago, I put a tweet out saying that I would like the transition of having Proctor start in at guard and then maybe eventually moving out to tackle. I would like that succession plan more than I would feel comfortable with Spencer Fano doing that. I just think he brings more just from a physical sense of the game, where he's going to bring that attitude, and I think the problem with him isn't physical. The problem with him is through the ears, because when everything is clicking through the ears, it looks beautiful. But that's the problem, is it's a roller coaster with him. And like I've been saying throughout this whole process, he's a big time boom bust prospect. And I've compared him to McCoy Becton. I could see him having a similar type of career there. But with Kenyon Sadiq, like Mike said, being able to add a different kind of weapon than what they already have on the roster. Somebody who's bigger, somebody who can add some speed and get vertical down the seam. And then also, Mark Andrews is no spring chicken, and who knows how it goes with him as far as staying healthy for this year. So it could be looked at as a luxury for right now, but then in the season, it could be, kind of like that Nate Wiggins thing, where Nate Wiggins, it looked like a luxury pick. Then in the season, a bunch of people got hurt, and it was like, damn, we needed Nate Wiggins. So, and then also, I agree with James. I think right now Sadiq is the better player and probably has the higher ceiling, and he's probably more trustworthy right now as far as that off the field part of the game, which is so important, because then when you pick somebody top 15, you want to know that they're going to work. You don't want somebody who's going to come in at 400 pounds, So I'm going to go with Sadiq.
All right.
Well, I did not expect that. Okay, that's a surprise for me.
Yeah, the way he was going, I was like, this is for your Proctor.
My hook ain't work this time. I got to pull the blade out next time.
Well, hey, it was a surprise to me, but Kenyon Sadiq, first player to make it through to round two. We not gonna show off. We just gonna turn around and hand the ball to the ref. All right, we moving on to the next matchup. Okay, next we got a little corner and defensive end, edge rusher, maybe even interior pass rusher, however you want to describe him. Matchup. We've got Jamab McCoy, cornerback out of Tennessee at number 7, and we got Keldrick Faulk. All those labels I just mentioned out of Auburn at number 10. And let's see, I know I've got Faulk. Who's got McCoy?
That's me, MC.
Okay, James, here we go. All right, well, again, just in terms of order, you're up. So whenever Coach,
whenever you start, I'm ready.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So with me, you're gonna get the evaluation first, right? I'm trying to crib some of my notes. So McCoy, just outstanding cover corner, like so good in soft press. He's explosive, can match angles with even the best receivers, best competition he faced, but also physical, technically sound when he has to jam. I think he loved facing the best receivers in college. Like, he looked like he relished the challenge of locking those guys down. Easy mover, elite play speed, because he pairs his movement skills with what I thought was really high processing ability. Covered most types of receivers in man, but I also liked him in zone, especially the way he reads the quarterback, and his drive mechanics are excellent. He's got great ball skills, physical, competitive at the catch point. There's some stuff you want to see him improve as an open field tackler, but physical, aggressive play style, disciplined and effective as a force player. I just think he instantly becomes the Ravens cornerback one. I like Wiggins a lot, but I think McCoy is what they thought they were drafting when they drafted Wiggins, when they started talking about him as the best cover corner in the draft. I think that's who McCoy is, and I think he's better than Wiggins when Wiggins was coming out. So I think the two of them would form a really formidable partnership and would allow the Ravens the luxury of relying less on Marlon Humphrey, I think, outside as a full-time corner. So, yeah.
Time.
All right. I'm ready, Coach.
I'm not.
Okay. give me the.
Okay, now I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Keldrick Faulk, young player, 21 years old, 6'5", 276. Tested well, 4.67 40, 35 vert, 9.9 broad jump. So athletic. The first thing I think when you watch his tape, people will see, and it's positive, and then maybe the other side of it. First is the positive, right? Solid run defender. I think that's the first thing people look at. Something that he can give you right now, right? In year one, get on the field and defend the run. And people say, where's the pass rush? Then see a lot of pass rush, right? Well, one, he's young. Two, look at how he was used in Auburn's defense. You see that alignment, right? That 4-eye alignment, that inside edge of the tackle, where he's not outside the tackle, not in space to really use some of that athleticism. So I think that hindered some of the pass rush right there too. But even if you're like, nah, that's not convincing, I don't buy that, you have to give me a little bit more than that. I said, okay, let's give you a couple comps, right? I know people don't like comps. I don't love comps, but we give you a couple comps. One is Mykel Williams out of Georgia, right? A lot of people kind of compare him who 49ers took last year. Fortunately, he was dinged up his first year, didn't get a chance to really put the whole thing on display. But if you look back at Georgia, 3 seasons, 85 pressures, 17 sacks. Here's another Georgia comp, Trayvon Walker, right? Another guy just got paid, right? Look at Trayvon Walker. Same thing, very low production. If you look at Faulk's numbers, better production than both of those guys in his 3 seasons. See, I didn't even go to the McCoy. I didn't even go there.
You ain't go there.
I didn't go there. I mean,
he was real gentleman like.
I'm trying to take, when they go low, when they go low, we go high. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Should we just for transparency point out? So I thought MC was going to come up with this. So let's just for transparency point out that McCoy's torn ACL is not the issue that's just been pointed out recently. Apparently, he has a bone plug that could need to be replaced later in his career, where they used to repair some cartilage, which means he could be out for a year at some point in the future in his career when that needs to be replaced. So let's do that for full transparency for people watching, because I think that's reasonably new news. And yeah, I didn't want to throw it out there because it's against my case, but this should be balanced and respectful, right? Because I know MC likes McCoy, and I also very much like Faulk. So this was always going to be a respectful one, I think.
Yeah. And plus, I didn't want to go there too, even though I think it's good. We definitely want to share that, whatever the latest information is. But that was kind of the thing with the injury, right? Is it might not be a today thing. Like he'd probably line up and play for you this year, but somewhere down the road. Go ahead, Coach.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that either. Not that specific thing. I'd heard that they were more, say team, quote unquote, teams were more concerned about his knee than they were about Will Johnson coming out last year. Yeah. And we know Will's he slid top of the second round, something like that.
47.
So
I think.
yeah. And so that what James just said is like the latest. So it's good to know that. But anyway, all right, here we go. We're gonna get these votes. All right. Start with you, Kerry. Who you got?
Man, this is tough because I think you guys laid out the case for both of these players really well. McCoy, for one, kind of gives me like Chris McAllister vibes a little bit. He's a really, really good player. Really, he has that kind of like arrogant athleticism. Like he walks on the field and it's like whoever's lining up in front of him is like, this dude can't beat me. Right. Like he plays like that. Faulk to me is like a ready-made impact run defender and multifaceted in that regard. You see him, anything that you want from a run defender, you see it watching his tape. I think McCoy is the better player, but I'm going to go Faulk here because I look at Mentor and Mickens coming in and their track record with DBs, and then you look at some of the struggles the Ravens have had. as far as generating a pass rush and having worthy players up front. So that leans me towards Faulk.
Okay, there's one vote for Faulk. Coach, how about you?
Just thinking of just aside from the eventually what's gonna happen, I look at a guy that could really start a formidable tag team with Nate Wiggins, like James said. You can never have enough good corners. He could get in there and not be required to be the number one guy now, but I think he's a guy that once you put him on the field, you ain't gonna want to take him off. And so I feel like Faulk's more one-dimensional, whereas McCoy is good in man and press and could help out at a position of always a position of need. I'm gonna go with McCoy right here.
See, man, we got some veterans in this game. They know how to play this thing, baby. Chris, you up again, man. The deciding factor comes back to you.
This is a tough one. I'm a huge McCoy fan, and the medicals they mess up the clarity of what's going to happen with him or throughout his career. So obviously that's something that you have to factor in, especially when you're picking at 14. Keldrick Faulk, he has age on his side, very young. Everything you read about him off the field, he's mature beyond his years. Obviously, there's a lot of untapped potential with him as a pass rusher. So there's a lot to build off there. And like you guys said, he's a really good run defender. I think with this pick, I'm going to go with McCoy. I'm going to go with McCoy.
I was so close.
I'm going to go with McCoy on this pick. I love him a lot. I think Keldrick Faulk is a nice player, but McCoy, I think he's somebody who can, we look back 2 years, 3 years from now, and we're like, damn, he made it all the way to 14.
All right. Yeah. So Jamad McCoy, next player who makes it through to the second round. All right. So now we got all the round 2 matchups. Had a couple guys who had, yeah. Okay. See, I like that. We had a couple guys who had buys in from that first round, and Vega Ione and Caleb Downs. But now everybody's through and all the matchups are set. So back up to the top is Vega Ione, and I think Coach
James.
That's me.
James. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then Kenyon Sadiq. Oh, damn. Well,
that's you, ain't
it? That's me. That's me.
It was nice while it lasted, MC.
It was. And what I didn't even think it was gonna last. So just to even get here is something. But we not just happy to be here, James. We try and win. So, but James gets to go first. So Coach, whenever you give him
I'm ready. On you, James.
So the first line I was always going to say for this is the draft process is long. I can't remember who said that, but don't get bored with great players. And that's where you should be with Yuan for me. To get a pressure against him, you've got to thread the tiniest needle. You've got to set it up over the course of a game, and you might get 1 out of him, maybe 2, but you're not going to get a lot. I love his feet, no matter how he's setting. I think his best attribute in pass pro is his hands. He's a technician working independent hands. He uses the 2-handed strike as a devastating changeup. I like how he refits his hands when he's in some trouble, which is rare. I think he's a really high processor for the position as a pass protector. In pass protection, this kid is just a rock. It is very hard to get past this guy in pass protection. He just does what an offensive lineman should do as a pass protector. There's some things in the run game that you want him to work on, like there's some things to finesse as a zone blocker. When he's in close quarters, he's going to destroy guys. His power is ridiculous. But in space, there's some things to work on. He's good in space. I'm not knocking the kid, but there's some technical things, some reach blocking. He's not a perfect fit for the Ravens' new running scheme, but to me, it's not disqualifying. I just don't think you overthink a guard that can start for you at a glaring position of need.
Well,
Mike, whenever you're ready.
It's going to be a tough one. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, bring out the big guns.
Here we go. All right, Kenyon Sadiq. All right, I talked to you in the first round about kind of the athletic profile and some of the physical parts, but let's talk about some of the intangibles, right? And I'm not gonna pretend that I did this because I didn't. But if you read the Beast that Dane Brugler puts out every year, right? He talked about some NFL scouts saying, that Sadiq is driven. Coaching staff had to pull him back at times. Other teammates say he was the toughest player in practice to cover. Right, has special teams background, played almost 500 snaps on special teams, was durable, didn't miss a game in college. But here's the other thing I wanna take you to. So I talked about him being a weapon, right? Not just a tight end. Okay, so check this out. Go back to 2023, the Lions. Think about Sam Laporta. Now, Sam Laporta went at pick 34, a little further down the road, but think about that Ben Johnson offense. Now, if I told you 86 catches, 889 yards, and 10 TDs in year one as a rookie at pick 14, you had no problem with that. You wouldn't even care what wide receiver, tight end, running back, whoever it was, you would take that type of production. So even though Declan wasn't there with the Lions in 2023, he's seen that film. He was with Ben Johnson in Chicago last year, so they've watched Lions film. And so I could very easily see them using Sadiq in the same way they use Laporta.
That's a good one.
Okay, hey, I held that one back.
That's a good one.
I held that one back. Okay, all right. Here. I might have to change this up because it's going to keep me and Chris all the time. Unless you want it, you want to be the decider every time.
No, hell no.
Okay, all right. Well, let
him go first. Then go first, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to say let's flip it. All right, you go first this time.
I'll make this short and sweet. We're going to go with Vega.
All right. I knew that. I think this is probably going to be a sweep. Go ahead, Coach.
What was those numbers again? For
Laporta? 86 catches, 889 yards, and 10 TDs.
Sadiq.
I like it. Offensive guy at heart, right? And wide receivers. I know he's not a wide receiver, but he plays.
He is a wide receiver.
A little bit like a wide receiver.
He a wide receiver.
Yep. All right. Well, then, Kerry, this time you the deciding factor. What's it going to be?
Man, might you know how to pull up my heartstrings with some of this stuff, man? Because me and you have talked about this with seeing his offensive fit. These play action, these end breakers, there's going to be some Sean Payton influence, I'm sure. So a lot of those bootleg, drags that Sean Payton runs over and over again. And space creation. That's what you're doing in this kind of offense, creating space. It's easy to see them be able to put Sadiq in this offense, find open grass for him, and just let him turn up field and go. And that's something that's eluded them. They don't have a lot of weapons like that. Vega on the other end, he plays a position that tanked your season last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just bulletproof as a prospect in any way. The only thing you can say necessarily about him is he's not necessarily this nuclear athlete or this, loose fluid athlete as far as like a zone blocking scheme that you can like weaponize his movement in that way. But outside of that, there are no holes there. So I still have questions about Sadiq's lateral movement and separation skills. I got to go with Vega here.
Yeah, hey, I touched the dream. I touched the dream. I got through to the second round, but now the dream is turned into a nightmare. All right, so Vega, I can never say Yuan. I gotta slow down to remember how to pronounce it correctly. Yuan. He wins that one, as I think a lot of people expected. All right, so we're gonna go on to the next matchup, and this is a good one. We got a wide receiver matchup here. We got McCoy Lemon. That's crazy. Going against Jordan Tyson. So I think Chris has Lemon, and Coach, you have Tyson.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So Chris, you'll be up first.
All right. Let me know when it's ready.
I'm ready.
All right. So McCoy Lemon, out of USC, wide receiver. When we think about the Ravens pass catchers, we think about guys letting them down, whether it's untimely drops or just not showing up for big games. McCoy Lemon, he's the opposite of that. He's not a soft, quote unquote, soft, which we see a label put on, a few Ravens wide receivers. This is a guy who's going to come in and change the mentality of the room. You know, he's going to be that tough guy. He's going to make the tough catches. And when you look at his career at USC, barely ever put the ball on the ground. And with him, you're going to get a feisty guy who's going to be able to line up at multiple places. He's obviously not going to be a typical X receiver, but in the NFL these days, there are very few and far in between typical X receivers in the game. Everybody's being moved around. And when you can add somebody like this and drop him into your offense, when you talk about the toughness that he brings, because he's going to bring a different level of physicality than they already have. He's tough to bring down after the catch. He's a good route runner, phenomenal hands, and he's a psycho on and off the field, it seems like, because when you watch that combine interview.
All right. Mike, somebody else want to? Well, I can do it for myself. I can do it for myself.
No, you sure? I got you.
Okay.
I mean, I got you. I want you to be able to totally concentrate on what you're doing. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, go.
All right, I got Jordan Tyson, and Jordan Tyson 6'2", 203. I'm gonna start you with the Eminem version. So all the negative stuff that's gonna be said about me, I'm gonna dismantle it. Got hurt at Colorado the year before Deion got there. I went and found the clip of him getting hurt. He ran a slant. And he was so open, the safety dove straight at his knees and tore his knee up. So that's not a situation where he was a lot of these ACLs where they're just non-contact. So dude actually put his helmet and shoulder through his knee, and that's how his knee tore up. So you got to kind of forgive that. All right, the other injury, collarbone, that's just getting tackled wrong. Shit can happen to anybody. So all the injuries, yes, he has injury history, but there haven't been soft tissue things other than his hamstring right here. And it's because he ran damn near every route available for Arizona State. But going to the good thing, if you think about Jordan Tyson, nobody in this draft, including Cornell Tate, moves like Jordan Tyson. He can play inside and outside. He comes from an athletic family. His dad played at FAMU in the late 80s, early 90s. Got a brother in the NBA. He even moves like an NBA swing person. Go ahead.
Time. Okay. That's the case for Jordan Tyson and McCoy Lemon. All right, we're going to switch up the voting order a little bit. Kerry, we're going to start with you.
So this is a difficult one for sure. Both very talented players, have different strengths. I think what's going to sway me here is, even though Tyson is in a bigger body than Lemon, I think functionally they're kind of more alike than as far as how you deploy them with the Ravens. I have questions about Tyson as far as the dirty work, as far as some of that X receiver stuff that you want to see. And so if he's more of a Z big slot, then what would be the difference between him and Lemon? Because Lemon is going to be used the exact same way. I have concerns too with Tyson about he looked faster at Colorado than he did this past year. So am I already losing a pinch of athleticism there? So I'm going to be on the safe side and go with the kind of the certainty of Lemon.
Okay, I'm gonna go second, and I'm gonna go with Jordan Tyson. To me, it's not that I'm not concerned about the injuries. You have to be. You have to factor that in. But then I think about the ceiling, and like James said it earlier, the process is long, but don't get bored with great players. If you go back earlier this year, especially 2024, obviously he had the injuries kind of, as this season went on, but especially 2024, there was no doubt who wide receiver number one was in this class, right? We're not talking about Jeremiah Smith in college. We're talking about this class, people coming out this year. There was no doubt who this was. And you watch his tape and you watch some of the plays that he makes, how he runs his routes, how explosive he is, the catches he makes. And I was telling James about this the other day. The thing that I did recently to go back and watch was, because I heard somebody say it on a podcast, they said, look at his production versus top 25 opponents. or at least, teams, because they ain't play a ton of top 25 teams or teams that were close to it, right? Other good teams. And he shows up, right? He shows up. And what is something that we as a group, all of us have talked about with the Ravens in these, last few years in the playoffs? When the stakes are the highest, we need your best. Okay. That we've gotten the opposite of that in some ways from some guys. But
that's a mentor thing right now. That's one of his sayings.
Right. But this guy, in the games that he had, right? I mean, he can only play who's on his schedule. So you can say, he can play SEC, he can do this, he can do that. He can only play who's on his schedule. So whenever he gets that best team for them, right, that's on their schedule, and he shows up and does his thing, then, to me, that's the convincing part of it for me. But James is the one who gets to decide on this.
This is really close, man, because I think these two, for me, even when I've graded them, are very, very close. And I love both players. I do love what Lemon is now. But there is the thing about that. I think for this Ravens team, I think they do have to think about swinging for the fences and looking for ceiling on some of these players. And Tyson, to me, does have the slightly higher ceiling. I think the other thing that sort of clinches it for me a little bit for Tyson is the thing Kerry mentioned about the role being similar. There is a world, I think, having watched Tyson over his years in college, I feel like, and I think this is important to do when you're sort of evaluating for the Ravens. I have seen him grow in terms of his skills at the line of scrimmage. Like, I think his release skills have grown over his time in college, and to me, that suggests a potentially higher ceiling in his release package. And then you're talking about a guy who could be a bit more versatile in terms of his role. I think right now he is a zero slot, but I think there's a world where he will be able to get off press. And I think that's just a little bit less likely with Lemon. So it's a really close one, but for me, I'll go Tyson just here.
Jordan Tyson making it through. Okay. So far we got Vega Yuan, we got Jordan Tyson, and now we're coming up to our third out of 4 matchups in this round. And we had this in round 1 with me and Kerry going, but we're back for a little bit more DCP on DCP crime. I think Chris has got Monroe Freeling and Kerry has got Spencer Fano, but good matchup here, good offensive line matchup, and we're gonna see who come out of it. So I guess Chris, you're up.
All right, let me know when we're good.
On you, Chris.
All right, so Monroe Freeling, left tackle out of Georgia. Now this guy, to me, he is getting in on the ground level of Apple back in the day. If you get in on him right now, the sky's the limit. This is a guy that's just scratching the surface. You pop in the tape from earlier in the year and you're like, oh, no, this is no good. But then you see that gradual progression as the year goes on, and then you see him going up against some really good SEC defenders and stonewalling them, and you see a different type of physicality from him, and you see a play style that isn't typical of a left tackle. He's a physical guy. He's a guy that's going to bring the energy. He has tremendous flexibility. Now you say, well, the Ravens have Ronnie Stanley. Copy. Ravens also had a starting left tackle when they drafted Jonathan Ogden, and he played guard his first year. And I think the skill set that Freeling has, I think it translates well to guard if you want to go that route with him in year 1. Because like I said, he has the flexibility to play. I know he's tall, but he doesn't play tall. He has the play demeanor and the play style in order to survive there at guard. And then when Ronnie Stanley goes, you have your future left tackle.
There you go. All right, Kerry.
Ready when you are, Kerry.
All right. Spencer Fano. He's kind of become one of my favorite players in this draft. Nice combination of athleticism, efficient movement, clean feet. I don't know if y'all remember that picture that was out there. The guy, he was holding the dog and he was looking vicious, but the dog was looking normal. And he was like he trying his hardest to make that motherfucker look vicious. That's Spencer Fano. He don't look vicious, but he vicious. I know I'm kind of joking my own guy, but like I just can't get away from that. But team captain, determined player, 21-year-old true junior, tremendous zone scheme fit, 92 run block grade in zone. And I'll leave with this one thing. A couple things actually. Dane Brugler and Fran Duffy's OT1. I can play him at guard. I can play him at center. Chris talked about Freeling getting in on the stock on Apple, but maybe you got to wait a year. I want my money right now. if Freeling can't play guard, then I can't play him year one. I can't look at my franchise quarterback and tell him his first round pick can't play this year. I can play Fano at center. I can possibly play him at guard.
Time.
Okay. All right. We're going to shuffle the deck again. Coach, I'm going to let you go first.
All right. So I'll start with Monroe Freeling. I like Monroe Freeling as a tackle. And Chris, you really sold me and changed my thinking with the Apple comment, because I feel exactly like you do with him. You get in on him early, and you got a guy, whether you can move something else around and let him play tackle, or experiment with him at guard, which I don't really think would be the good thing. But I like the base package. I like what he is raw. And when you go to Spencer Fano, as far as a tackle with us, I think if you take this guy at 14, he's not going to see the field for 2 years, because I don't think he can beat out Ronnie. I don't think he can beat out Rosengardner. I think he's gonna have a fight on his hands with Carson Vincent. And then if they move Emery back to guard, he really got a fight on his hands. I'm not a huge fan of him playing center, and so without just going into it, I'm picking Monroe Freeling.
Okay, I'm gonna go second, and then we're gonna make James a decider. maybe I'm gonna go with Freeling too. Maybe I'm gonna go with Freeling right now. But let me see. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can show my shirt. Okay, hey, can y'all see my shirt?
Yep.
Martin.
You see Martin hold back the dog, right? That's what Jerry was talking about with Spencer Fano. You gotta hold him back. Baby. He's ready to get out there and do some work. But you gotta hold him back. You gotta keep him on the leash until it's time. That's right. Before I make change. That's right. That's what Fano doing. So you know what? Yeah, don't let the smooth taste fool you. It's a dog inside of there, just ready to be unleashed. I like the versatility. I like the athleticism. Excellent points about Monroe Freeland. I'm not knocking any of those, but like Kerry said, I want my money today. Okay, I need it right now. So for that, I'm gonna pick Spencer Fano, and then James is gonna be the decider.
This is a tough one, because I've struggled with both these guys, and I've watched so much tape on both these guys, especially Fano, who is some people are. A lot of guys I respect in terms of evaluators have Fano as O-line 1, and so it's a tough one to try and get on board when you're not necessarily seeing it yourself on the tape. But the same thing with Freeling. I thought, Chris, you made a great case for Freeling, and it is the case that convinces me a lot with Freeling, because it's the potential to swing for the fences thing I talked about on the last one. Like this Ravens team does need to think about swinging for the fences, and you convinced me a bit in terms of his projection on the interior. I am really torn with this one. I'm gonna go Monroe Freeling. Just.
Okay.
All right.
Trying to respect the process of making the case. I think it's probably not quite what my grades say in my guide, but I feel like, that was trying to respect this conversation, man.
I will say I am surprised.
I mean, I like it though too, because if you believe what this team believes, right, in that they're not going to be picking this high again in 2026. Mm-hmm. And if you say, while we're here, we can get another left tackle who we believe is going to be the next guy to step in and play left tackle the way that, at the level Ronnie did, peak Ronnie, right? Not after the injuries and, where things kind of took a toll on him, but peak healthy Ronnie Stanley. If we can get somebody that we think can play on that level, not comparing the player, but just saying level of play, and we can get that because we don't think we're going to be in a position to pick that again in future years, then I could buy that. If you're selling that, I could definitely buy that. Now, I mean, you could also flip the other end and say, hey, we think we can get, a quality guard later in this draft. There's no guarantee in that, right? If those people are going to be there second, third, fourth round. And then you're looking at Voorhees, Emory Jones, and John Simpson. And then it's like, I don't know. But all apologies to Lamar. I still think if you have a chance to get that left tackle, you go out and get that left tackle. And he might be like, you play behind these boys there, you feel that way. But you don't get a chance to pick these guys typically unless you're picking up in this range. And they don't believe they're going to be the team picking up here because they typically have not been.
Right.
If you can get a functional left tackle at 14, you're sprinting, to the podium. If you can get a left tackle at 14 that you think has the potential to be a top 10 left tackle, just based off of what Freeling has, like he's close to as prototype as you can get. Yeah, I mean, like Chris said, you jumping in a year ahead, getting a dude that could be top 5 if he went back to school.
Yeah, yep. And I want to circle back to Spencer Fano because he's somebody that I've struggled with. I don't know. I don't know with him. To me, I project his best position as a center, but then like James said, and a coach said it too for his personal opinion, but James said it about Fran Duffy and Dane Brugler where he's their OT1, and it's like I didn't see that. I didn't see. I want to believe, I want to, but I did not see that, and I have a hard time figuring out where to put him, specifically for the Ravens, because I could see him being a tackle for the Rams. I can easily see that, but for the Ravens, it's going to be difficult. With you talk about Ronnie, you talk about Roger Rosengarten. I don't know. I think they would, if they drafted him, I think it would be to play center.
Chris, it's Brandon Thorne has him as O-line 1 as well, but he has him as a late first round grade.
Freeling?
And it's Fano. And it's a similar thing for me with that. Is like if I'm drafting at 14, I don't know that I want to take a guy who has a late first round grade. I'm sure Freeling has a worse grade than that, but I know Freeling's ceiling is right. Like top 10 in the draft, top 10 in a future draft if he'd stayed in for another year or two.
Yeah.
So you're kind of saying, okay, do you want that? Like, and I think I want that guy.
Yeah, I heard Dane say that if he was to stay, he probably would be definitely OT1 next year.
Yeah, so a good chance of that. My thing with Fano, we know he has the versatility. So what is that? That's the thing. Is that's the thing is what is his ceiling at tackle? Then what is his ceiling at guard? Then what is his ceiling at center?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. There are all of these projections that he could play along the line, but I don't want somebody who can just play along the line. I mean, we could do that with Patrick McCarry for free.
Right.
But with the 14th pick, I need somebody who's going to be that dude at, whatever position you're going to play him at. And I don't know if he can be that dude at any of the positions. I think he can be fine, but I don't know if he can ever be that dude at any one of those positions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes the case right there. You're not looking for fine at pick 14.
Right. But the Ravens might be.
Well, they might be.
they love fine.
I think it's a projection, but I think he could be better than fine at center. I think he could be a bigger, more physical Linderbaum at center, but it's also very much a projection.
Right. Yeah.
And as much as I love him as a player, and like I kind of buy into him as a player, as a worker, as a person, it's still like a narrow, tight end looking frame that you got to be real well comfortable with, as far as projecting him, as far as tackle.
Mm-hmm.
At center, I think he can be an all-pro type of center, but you just had a center that you drafted in the first round at Walt.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to kind of go through that again and deal with the 5th-year option thing again? So he, like Chris said, he's just so it's so polarizing to think about, his case for the Ravens.
And last thing I say before we move on to this last matchup, because this is recent, right? This just happened in the division. As hard as it will be to move to center when you haven't done it before, you doing it at the NFL level, and now you got to line up against Sexy Dexy on the other line. And I'm like, listen, you putting a whole lot on that man. You putting a whole lot on Fano to have to show up and deal with that. A minimum of twice a season, not to mention all the other monsters that you got to face who's going to line up, right over top of you or on your shoulder. So not to say he can't do it, but that's a lot to put on a young guy. Okay. Last matchup of this round, we got Jamad McCoy, who made it through, and then Jamad was who had Jamad?
Me.
James. And then Coach got Caleb Downs. Let's get another safety, man. Let's get like 4 or 5 safeties. Just pick a safety. That's all you need. Anyway, so James, I think you're up first with McCoy.
Cool. So got to save some stuff back for these matchups, right? And I emptied the clip a little bit on McCoy because I didn't think I was going to get through that. So but McCoy, to me, he's like a couple of things to say. Multi-sport athlete that the Ravens love. Played basketball, baseball, ran track. Actually, was recruited more for baseball out into college. Went to Oregon State as a corner. He played both ways in high school as well. So originally was more looked at as a receiver. Went to Oregon State, showed out at Oregon State as a corner, as a freshman, enough to get attention from a lot of different high-profile schools, and then went to Tennessee and was great. The thing I didn't talk about in the first matchup was how great a fit I think he is for Minter in the scheme, because when he's in zone, like, he's a great man cover corner, and I love that about him. But when he's in zone, man, he is disruptive in zone to the point where the ball production he had in his last season in 2024, I think it was nine passes defense, 4 interceptions. Like, some of that came in zone where and Minter's going to run a very heavy dose of zone, compared to the rest of the league next year. And I think he's a really great fit for that. And that kind of ball skills is the thing that I think the Ravens really need out of corner in this draft class.
All right, Mike, one of y'all got to get me set up.
Okay, I got you. Ready? Let me know.
I'm ready. You
right.
Say when.
When.
All right, Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State, and I'm just gonna go off accolades and different things that he's done. Freshman All-American at Bama. And when he played for Nick Saban, didn't play for DeBoer. Freshman All-American at Bama. Going to Ohio State. Unanimous All-American. Big Ten DB of the year. First team Big Ten. And a 79-yard punt return as a safety. Then last year, what the Ravens love? Captains. Mm-hmm. And he was a captain. Unanimous All-American again. Jim Thorpe Award. Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Big Ten DB of the Year. On a team that they were so loaded that he could kind of do what he wanted. He could be the Troy Polamalu of that team. He could play in a box. He could play split field safety. He can come down and play a little linebacker. He can cover slot receivers. Whatever Matt Patricia needed, he did it. And Matt Patricia ran an NFL style system, so he's NFL ready to come in and be whatever you need him to be. He can, if he was in our secondary. I know
time. You brought it home right there. Before we get to the votes, I see somebody in the chat. Lance Brown said he doesn't see this on your.
That's Cam. It's on Deep Cover Podcast. That's Cam. That's Killer Cam.
Yeah, it's on the Deep Cover YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. It's not streaming through X because we ain't got premium and Elon want his money.
So Cam, I posted it And I posted it on my X. It's a link there, and it's on the Deep Cover Podcast channel. So either one of them two.
Yeah. Okay. Now, to these votes, let me see who we wanna do this. We got it. Okay. I know what we're gonna do. All right. I'm gonna go first. I'm just gonna say Caleb Downs. I'm gonna say Caleb Downs because this is the only time I'm gonna get this in because he's not a guy who I'm making the case for. But to me, I think he could come in and play nickel for you in this defense. Right. I know people will question his coverage ability, particularly in man, not zone. I think everybody understands high level zone awareness and zone player. But I think people, we ain't seen him play man a whole lot in college. Wasn't asked to do it a ton at Ohio State. I think you see it a little bit more at Bama in his freshman year, especially playing for Saban. That to play as a true freshman and be a freshman All-America at Bama with Saban as your coach is crazy. But anyway, I think he could come in. I think he could play nickel for you. And I think what you could do if you want it is you could have Wiggins and whoever else you want on the other side, whether that's Marlon, whether that's Cheeto, whatever combination you got going on over there. You could have Malachi and Jalen back at safety. Hamilton continues to line up wherever the hell he wants, wherever he can impact the game the most. And then Downs can be your primary nickel. Doesn't mean he's going to exclusively play nickel. You could even have some snaps where he kind of lines up as kind of your dime backer, and maybe you've got Hamilton, like we talked about, Coach and Chris, at Sam. Maybe he's a rusher in a particular situation. So I think you got enough flexibility with those guys between Hamilton and Downs because they're both super football smart, and Malachi as well back there too. You got a bunch of smart dudes back there that you really aren't as limited in where you can play these guys as you might be in some other cases where you say, oh, he's this and he can only be this. I don't think you have those limitations for some of those guys. So that's why I've been okay with it. But anyway, yeah, I'm saying Downs. We're going to ask Chris to go next.
Well, I'm going to play the game, how y'all have been playing the game and how y'all have been setting me up.
Yes. That's what we want.
So I'm going to go with McCoy.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
what we want. Carrie, it's all you.
So I came into this pretty much thinking that I was going to take McCoy, but Mike makes a pretty compelling argument as far as Downs playing him as a nickel and Kyle, again, just playing him wherever the hell you want him. And when you think about them having Buchanan, up in the air as far as early in the year, maybe your second linebacker is basically Kyle Hamilton, a lot. Downs is such a bulletproof prospect. Maybe he doesn't turn into this all-out star, but it's hard to see how he fails. Man. But I'm still gonna go McCoy.
What made me choke on my teeth.
We
had this one in the bag, Coach. I thought we had this one in the bag.
I did too. I went back and started looking at my Jordan Tyson.
Yeah,
because I can see I can just see the pathway more as far as Downs isn't going to be your safety one. McCoy and JL, he made a good point with this and kind of comparing him to Wiggins. McCoy could be your CB1. So yeah, that's what ultimately led me to go with McCoy.
That was a late pull right there, boy. That's used like EDC when that doctor came and told him about Crosby. He's like, get that trade him out of here. Nah. We not trading nothing. You pulled that thing back quick. Okay, well, hey, I think I see. Do we got an updated bracket here?
No, we do not.
No, we do not.
Oh, okay. I was up on the screen
because of that upset. We do not.
Okay, I was gonna say I see something down there, but I'm not gonna put that on the stage. We just gonna talk.
I'm not gonna lie. When I sent the updated one, I completely forgot we had another one going. I forgot
When
we
I
had.
saw it, I'm like, ooh, he foreshadowing.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Tipping picks. He tipping the picks.
that was just me not paying attention to the because I just thought Downs was going to the next one for whatever reason, but it's the updated one is coming to you right now.
Okay. I was gonna say we tipping picks out here. We tipping picks. All right. Before we get that other one up on the screen, just a reset for everybody. All right, here we go. Get ready to go to next round. I guess semifinals. I guess is what this would be. So it's gonna be Yuan versus Jordan Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be Freeling versus Jamal McCoy. I think I got that right.
Yeah, and I didn't.
Bracket doesn't update. Knows what Gully Squad. Gully Squad. We working on a fixed budget over here.
Right.
If you want that, you gotta go to Sip the Tally. That's where like all of the
the bracket gonna update in a minute. We filibustering, waiting on somebody right now. We filibustering. Intermission is happening right now. Go get you some snacks or something and come right on back. The bracket gonna update in just a second.
What you might want to do is get your little sippers mug, your sip responsibility, put your favorite beverage up in there, and then go subscribe while you there. You know what I'm saying?
I will say this while we on little intermission, while we waiting, it's 220 people watching on X.
Damn.
If you're not a subscriber to Deep Cover Podcast, come to YouTube.
Yeah.
Deep Cover Podcast, hit that subscribe button.
Yes,
great content similar to this right here. So like I said, there's 220 people watching on X. Unfortunately, it's on my account, but come to YouTube and make sure you subscribe to Deep Cover Podcast for great intellectual football conversation, not top of the like regurgitating what everybody else saying. You get deep thought, you get good analysis, you get a deeper level of football talk than just what everybody's screaming on like the 4 little networks, and then YouTube is just screaming the same thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I didn't even recognize. Sorry, Jay. I didn't even recognize that number. I just want to say thank you. Appreciate everybody that's tapping in. And I know
sure.
the sippers are well represented in that number. So I appreciate all of them.
I was just going to say a second that, Coach, because like I think I've said before, this was the bracket show specifically. I love being on because I used to listen religiously to the bracket show. And then the thing that I do love the most about Deep Cover is the draft review podcast, which you guys can sometimes go for like several hours, and I don't care. Like, I would have it go longer. It gets to the end, I'm like, oh come on, I've watched this. I've listened to this over like 4 car journeys. I want to carry on. So the guys are great, man. We're both biased, but it is we're biased because it's awesome. So definitely.
And one more thing before we go on, if you don't recognize, James is the one who did the Ravens pick last year in UK. That was that gentleman that's on your screen right there. He did the Ravens pick. Who was the pick, James?
He picked Teddy Buchanan. He picked it.
Teddy Buchanan. Teddy Buchanan. Yep. With Teddy Buchanan.
That's my guy now. I can't,
that's your boy.
Shared DMs with his dad, and like he's, that's my guy. He's
okay.
Want to get him back.
What's the biggest rivalry? Oh, you doing it again? Nope. Hey, the thing is, Cole and Teddy's dad is probably the biggest rivalry in sports right now.
They're going at it hard.
Cole Jackson and Teddy Buchanan's daddy, that's better than Miami, Florida State right now.
Hey, shout out to Road Graders. They over there getting in it, boy.
He went from Road Graders to the infamous Road Graders.
Got the what was the undrafted free agent, the linebacker who made the roster? Hasn't he got his dad in his corner?
Oh, Higgins,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Higgins' dad in his corner.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. So let me add it to file image.
Okay, we're gonna drop this down.
Let me see
for a moment.
I think that's the right one.
All right, let's bring it to the stage. There we go.
That's not the right one. That's not the right one.
Not the right
not
one?
the right one.
Okay,
I picked the wrong one. Image.
Take it down. That's right.
So I can't see it until you put it up there.
Okay, hold on. Is it this one?
That same one?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Okay,
the right one.
okay.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
the right one. Okay. Yeah,
There we
all
go.
right, we back.
There we go.
We
There we
back.
go, Gully. We good.
back.
We in business.
Yeah. That's as real time as this is gonna get on DCP. So there you go. There you go. Okay, so now we can reset. Everybody can see it. Vega Yuan versus Jordan Tyson and Monroe Freeling versus Jamal McCoy. So this is coming down to it for all the marbles. And man, I don't know how it's gonna go, but I know James is up against Coach to start, and then it's gonna be Chris against James.
Ain't it?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's start up top. All right, James, you're up.
Okay, so semi-finals. So let's throw some shade first. So Tyson, I'm a little concerned that he may be a couple of years away from reaching the ceiling that we all think he has. I specifically think some of his issues with route pacing is an issue. Like I think he has some great moves, but you don't register it because he doesn't pace his routes particularly well. And he's got some issues with his hands that I think could take a little bit of time to resolve. So maybe that ceiling's a little bit further away than everybody thinks. But getting back to Ioane, going positive, I think so. He's a multi-sport athlete. Again, he played basketball. He played rugby, my sport. I played for years over in the UK. He's a tough kid, obviously, because through that he played for Phil Troutwine, who was the offensive line coach at Penn State. First guy off the line for Phil Troutwine as an offensive line coach was Chris Lindstrom into the NFL. So he's got, and then he has put multiple guys in the NFL who have stuck in the NFL. Maybe not the best guys at the positions, but they have stuck for a long time. And the main thing for me with Ioane that I want to get across here is this team needs a tone setter. They need this pick to set the tone for this new coaching staff. And this guy's physical. He is tough. He is nasty. He sets the tone for this new Ravens team and the way forward from 2026.
Okay, and then Coach, let me get your timer. Okay, I got you.
All right. So James mentioned a little shade earlier. One drop in 2022. I mean 2025. So just want to come back there since we're coming with facts. Like Pat here, you gotta come with facts. So one drop in 2025. But arguably the most explosive wide receiver in this draft. We all talk about getting Lamar help. Could he use a guard? Yes, but the path to getting in and playing guard right now is not as easy as the path to getting in and playing wide receiver. Outside of Bateman, there's not a proven commodity at wide receiver. And he can be wide receiver 2 as soon as he's drafted. Zay, then him as soon as he's drafted. Whereas when Vega comes in, as good as Vega is and as much as he's shown, he still got to fight to get on the field. He still got to fight. I know we don't want to talk about 72, but he had a whole season. Then you still got our third round pick. Then you gave John Simpson $10 million. So the path to getting Lamar some help that'll start right now is Jordan Tyson. He does have pacing in his routes that I've seen. He has a great release package. He can play inside and outside. And before he got that nasty hit at Colorado, he was a part of the return game. So he gets you some return ability as well.
Timer. There it is. There's time. Okay. All right. We're going to start off with you, Chris. You had to make some decisions. You made like 2 or 3 of them early. So we're gonna take it off. We're gonna take it off.
I'm decisioned out. I love Jordan Tyson. I think he's an incredible talent.
Cut him off. Cut him off. I feel like
mute his mic.
I think, if healthy, I think he would fit an incredible need for the Ravens. I think he's somebody that, he's explosive. He's a playmaker, can get up over the top. But that health is scary. That's a scary proposition for as much as I like him as a player. And Vega is so much cleaner of a profile, just health wise. The need on the interior line that we've seen feels like a decade now that we've seen where they're just playing musical chairs at guard. So I'm gonna go with Vega on this one.
Salute.
All right, there's one vote for Vega. Okay, I'm gonna go second. So Carrie already know where this going. Because I'm gonna play the game like Triple H. You know, that's how I do it right now. So here we go. I'm going with Jordan Tyson. Clearly, offensive line, interior offensive line is a need. Everybody knows that, right? On this team. Despite we talked about Emory Jones, and I think we're optimistic about his potential. Voorhees, John Simpson, we know how we feel about that. So we know that's a need. But like Coach said, and this kind of was a selling point for me, is like, listen, this can also protect your quarterback. Somebody who he can get the ball out of his hands to and who will make something happen with it. He's not back there, trying to buy time and move around for his life. He can just get the ball out of his hands, boom, get it to Tyson, get it to Zay, get it to Bateman, get it to Andrews. Just spread that ball around and get it out and let those guys go make plays and score points. And then, of course, Lamar is always going to do his thing. Then, yeah, I think that, to me, this is something that can give you a similar outcome, just in a different way. And you get the high-end ceiling of having a legit wide receiver one type of profile in this prospect. Time will tell. You never know till these guys get in the lane, but the profile is there. And that's pretty exciting to me. So I'm going Jordan Tyson. So, Kerry, you get to make the call.
Mike don't even believe that, man. He just want to be messy.
Hey, listen,
but that's exactly what I was going to do if it came to me first. So I'm just glad you beat me to it.
Yeah.
All right, so Vega versus Tyson. Man, so, I mean, there's compelling arguments on both sides. We know how much, like, a real deal high-end receiver has eluded this team. We know how much the guard position tanked this team last season. One thing that I keep coming back to on Tyson, 26 reps on the bench, but he's kind of thin, can be bothered by physicality a bit. And when you watch him, something that stood out to me with Declan Doyle, he said he wants his smalls to be able to beat up the other team's smalls. And that's something that's stuck in my head throughout this process. And I think I think you'll see during the draft at some point, you will see that kind of come to fruition with their wide receiver pick. I don't know if that's Tyson. So I'm going to go with Vega.
There it is. Vega Yuan making it through the first guy to that championship round. All right. Now we got Monroe Freeling against Jamal McCoy. So, Chris, I believe you're up first.
Hold on. Can I say something about what James said?
Absolutely.
About he said something that stood out to me that really, even though full disclosure, I would have picked Vega as well. But he talked about Chris Lindstrom and what he's done from Penn State?
Boston College.
From Boston College to what he did in Atlanta. He played with our new O-line coach. And the new O-line coach was the main guy at Vegas Pro Day, teaching, learning, showing, and drilling and stuff like that. So, that Lindstrom comparison holds a lot of weight with me because I know how good Lindstrom is. I know how good that Atlanta O-line was as a whole. And so I'm fully into, what Vega can bring. And, as much as Jordan Tyson was my guy in this exercise, I think Vega, the picture is starting to come around for a lot of people that don't want it.
I would say, Coach, I thought I'm just like, this is like, I threw some shade, but I thought you made a great case for Tyson as well, right? Like, I think people, if people listening like this, that is the case for Tyson. And I talked about the route pacing. I exaggerated a bit. Like I can see him doing but I think that is the case for Tyson. It's the fact that he gets on the field quickly and can immediately elevate the offense. So there's definitely this is why these discussions are great, right? Because these are the kinds of discussions they're probably having in the war room, and I think it's great.
Exactly. All right. Yeah. Let's see who Yuan is going to match up with in this championship round. We got Freeling versus Jamal McCoy. So, Chris, you up with Monroe Freeling?
Whenever you're ready.
All right, I'm ready to go. So Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, maybe guard too, in year one. But I just want to speak to the jury right now. Aren't we tired of defense in the first round? I mean, 3 of the last 4 drafts we're going to be DBs. We're going to do it again with a defensive coach who can make chicken salad out of chicken shit. It's time to get Lamar some help, and it's time to think about now and the future as well. And like I said with Monroe Freeling, this is a guy who easily top 10 left tackle for next year's draft. We could see him be a top 10 tackle in this year's draft because of that ceiling that he has to become a top shelf tackle in the league. And like I said, I think he has the flexibility to play guard as well for 1 year. It's not ideal, but I do think that he can give you some reps there because of the flexibility that he has, also the play demeanor that he has. And with him, I think you're making an investment for next season, but also for the future as well.
Okay. James, Jamal McCoy.
So I said I emptied the clip on the first one, and now I'm on number 3. So I'm scraping but I think the thing with McCoy that I'm going to go with is the thing I talked about with Ioane, which is one of the things I've been looking for throughout this whole draft process, looking at prospects, is looking for guys who can set the tone for this new era of Ravens football. And I think McCoy fits that bill. Like, he's not delaying in the way that he sort of takes on the run and the kind of his ability in that phase of the game, but he is so aggressive, competitive, tough. Like, he reminds me of an old school Ravens corner. I think Kerry mentioned Chris McAllister earlier. I also kind of saw a bit of Jimmy Smith in him. Like, he reminds me of those kind of old school Ravens style corners that could come in here right away. And not only sort of what you're looking for is not just a guy who sort of can play like a Raven. You're also looking for this new age of Raven, which is, what is he going to be in Jesse Minter's scheme? And I mentioned it before, like, he's a versatile corner who Minter is going to be able to use in a variety of different ways. And he's going to be able to play zone. He's going to be a playmaker, which this secondary has lacked in recent years. McCoy is a guy who instantly comes in, I think, and makes a difference to this Ravens team. And you can point to him and say, that is the type of Raven we want in the future.
Okay. All right. Time to take it to the jury. As Chris said, he was talking directly to him. All right. I'm gonna start with you, Kerry, on this one. You're going to be first.
Anytime somebody start their argument, well, aren't we tired? You know they about to get in their bag. As soon as Chris said, aren't we tired? I'm like, oh, buddy, I know where this is going. Man, this is a low-key tough one, man. Like, I've been kind of anti-DB in the first. Like, if they take a DB, it's going to probably be somebody that's best player available. I'm not necessarily going to be mad, but I look at what Minter and Mickens bring to the table, and I'm just like, we can do some other things. But McCoy is so good that I had a feeling going into this that he was going to go further than what we necessarily thought. And there's reason for that. Like, this dude is a legitimate baller, complete player, physical, athletic. He can handle whatever Minter, brings to the table as far as the zone, but disguise and stuff. Like, and he brings that attitude and that ball pressure as well. Freeling, I just keep coming back to what Chris said about, Apple, getting in 1 year early. People don't understand how hard it is to hit on tackles. And you got to extend it to right tackle now with the way the game is played. So for you to be able to get one that has the upside, again, like I said, a top 10 tackle, I just got to lean that way. So I'm going to go Freeling.
Well, I'm going to go second here. People can probably guess. Well, I'm but no. Yes, I'm going to pick Jamal McCoy. Hold on. Right. Chris makes a great point, right? You bring in this coach whose specialty is supposed to be defense, and you're looking at where he just came from, and you can even go back to college, but you're looking at what he's done in the NFL, and you're like, hey, look, he was able to have not in every single position in the secondary, like the absolute top tier talent. Yes, he had Derwin, who's high level, but then you look at some of the corners and you're like, okay, these are mid to later round guys, and look what he was able to accomplish. Okay, fair. But imagine what he can do if we give him top tier talent. If we give him some first round type talent corners, right? Imagine what that defense could be. It was good. Maybe it gets back to being the best in the league again. Maybe we back 2023 version where we triple crowning in defense. It could be crazy. So that's why I'm gonna go with Jermon McCoy. So, Coach, you get to decide.
All right. So I need a little help here. I hope Jose is still here. If Jose, if you're here, throw your hashtag in the chat.
I already know what it is.
Jose, if you're still here, throw the hashtag in the chat. But until he does that, if he's here or not, I do see the upside of having McCoy on the defense. But Marlon, Awuzie, Nate, using 14, I want somebody that's pretty much gonna be on the field right now. And not saying he can't beat any of those guys out to get on the field, but it's a legit fight to beat those guys out. And we don't think TJ Tampa gonna lay down. Longer Beam and Kone gonna come back hungry, even though I think McCoy is probably better than them, but they still gonna come back hungry. So it's a uphill battle for a McCoy to get on the field. Whereas there it is, right on time. Whereas with Monroe Freeling, the door to get on the field at the offensive line is easier, and you want 14 to give you some ROI as fast as possible. And that's, I think, it's pretty much everybody's take on your first round pick. Unless you get a quarterback that got to sit behind somebody, you want your ROI on a first round pick to be almost immediately. And that's even if he don't play good, he just need to be on the field. And as we saw what happened with Kyle started off crappy, got exposed versus the Dolphins, and it's been an uphill trajectory since then. So with that being said, and with Jose's comment right there, hashtag defund the defense, I'm going Monroe Freeling.
There it is. Defund the defense. Showing up right on time, like Coach said, right on time. So, all right. Hey, championship round is set. We got Vega Yuan versus Monroe Freeling. Before we kick it off, any surprises? I mean, y'all kind of expect
Monroe Freeling. I did not see that happening.
My thing is with Tyson and Ione being on the same side. That's that's a surprise to me. Because I feel like those were the two that a lot of people, on top of the tight end, those were the two a lot of people kind of been throwing out there at the Ravens at 14. But well, for the most part, in the mocks and stuff.
I think the thing with Freeling, MC said it earlier, like I think it was UMC that said it, like it's the Ravens are drafted at 14. It really does, like they really should be looking at, can they get a left tackle in the future in some way at 14? Like they shouldn't be drafting here again, and it's the one position where you just don't find them later in the first round. And so that's why for me he sort of won the day a few times, I think.
Yeah. And one thing, McCoy for me lasting as long as he did was a bit surprising, but a couple of things with that, James laid out an excellent case for him all the way through. And then something that I'm going to have to kind of sit with is something that Mike just said, talking about Mentor's use of zone and some of these later round guys, Tarheeb Steele and Cam Hart, how he used those guys and they balled, they played well. But something that made me think a little bit more, how many of his calls, Mentor's calls, were influenced by maybe their limitations?
Mm-hmm.
So now if you give me a Wiggins and you give me another, first round corner out there, how does that change his calls? How much more aggressive does he become? What are the possibilities?
Mm-hmm.
So it's something to think about. I'm still kind of more so against DB in the first round, but I at least kind of more understand it from that standpoint. Like, Mentor could really, really cook if you're giving him two guys that he can trust like that.
Mm-hmm. Because we don't even know his bag with man corners.
Yeah. You probably have to go back and maybe look at some of the stops in college to see, if he had those type of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Something that always I have to remind myself of because I forget about it. We know he was DC at University of Michigan. We know Mike Mack was too. They actually won the Natty though when Mentor was DC, not Mike Mack. So that bag. It might not just be limited to I can play a whole bunch of zone and do he might have some more tricks in there than we
was
know.
Mentor the recipient of the information from the glasses?
Oh, was that year? Might be.
They won that championship that year.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. take anything that you can get because we trying to win that natty and they won it. So there you go. Okay. All right. Championship round is set. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it and we're gonna kick this thing off. Okay. I think James got you on.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
So, Yuan, I'm going to quickly touch on, if anybody hasn't watched it, Brandon Thorne did an interview with him, and in there you can see how high a processor he is, and I think that's a really thing that I haven't pointed out yet. But just a little story about him to illustrate his character. There's a video out there of him walking out of halftime, coming up into a stadium, and there's a dividing wall between him walking out and an equipment guy pushing a stupidly heavy car up a hill. And Yuan just jumps over the fence and starts helping the equipment guy push the car up the hill. He doesn't know the camera's on him. It's completely just his character. And I think that speaks to the type of guy he is. I also think they got Dwayne Ledford in really early. Do we think they promised him something besides the bag that they probably gave him? Did they promise him investment in the offensive line? Now that would work both ways in this matchup, but I feel like the thing he wants, let's not make him work too hard. Ioane's the finished article. You bring in Freeling, the Simpsons gif where Ralph Wiggum's on the bus and he says, "I'm in danger." That is Monroe Freeling when he faces big power rushers that know how to set up their inside moves. So I feel like Ledford wants the guy who is ready-made, ready to go, and can just start for them, and that's Yuan.
Okay, Chris, you're up. Monroe Freeling.
Hold on.
Since you
I'm ready. Whenever you're ready.
All right. So Monroe Freeling. So I've talked about him on the field. I just want to hit on his testing because I don't think it's magnified how special of an athlete he is. At the combine, tested on the vert, 93rd percentile, 40-yard dash, 95th percentile, 10-yard split, 88th percentile, hand size, 90th percentile, arm length, 74th percentile. Shout out to all the arm length believers. But this guy is a special mover on the field. You ask him to pull, he can make the long pulls, he can do whatever you want on the field. With him, I think having a tackle that is that athletic, but also with the nasty, gritty play style that he has, I think that's something that's rare that you don't see often. Usually you see guys who are that level of finesse side of their game when it comes to being athletes, kind of like Ronnie. We know Ronnie's great left tackle, but he was always more on the finesse side. And usually when you see those athletic tackles, they're usually more finesse. Freeling is not like that. Freeling has the mentality of a guard where he wants to be nasty, where he wants to be rah-rah.
There you go.
Boy, I tell you, all right. As usual, I'm gonna take the easy way out, and I'm gonna go first. So, for me, I definitely want to go with Yuan, and I think in real life, Yuan might be the pick in this situation. But for the purpose of this exercise, I'm gonna go with Freeling. Because again, the point that I keep coming back to is you don't often get a chance to pick this high if you're the Ravens. And if you have the opportunity to use this pick to get what you believe can be another franchise level type left tackle, that type of player, once he, has some time to develop, then you take that guy, right? Not to downplay the importance of guards and interior O-line play, because we know it's important, but these guys are hard to find, right? That's why you see the market for tackles be what it is every year, because these guys are just hard to find, like a really, really top tier guy. So if you get a chance to pick one, I think you pick one. So, Coach, I'm gonna let you go second, and then in true deep cover fashion, because when we did the War Room show, Kerry's the GM, so Kerry gonna be the designer.
Vega.
Very simple. Coach knows how to play the game.
All right.
Kerry.
All right, so it's for all the marbles here. Compelling cases on both sides. Again, we spoke ad nauseum about, how valuable it is to find a left tackle, especially if you can get them on a rookie deal. But then on the other side, you have this ready-made bulletproof prospect in Vega that will do more than just plug a hole. He will, all this talk about wanting to impose your will. It starts up front. It starts in the trenches. Vega's one of those tone-setting type of dudes. So the responsible me wants to go with Freeling. But my heart and my attitude about what this team needs to be wants to go with Vega. I'm gonna go with Vega.
I was like,
I wanted to go with
We did, didn't we?
I wanted to be responsible and go with Freeling, but one thing I think that we are kind of discounting in this, like, what if Ronnie just wants to play a few more years? Like the drop off hasn't been.
I think he is there for 2027.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years, 3 years. Now we're measuring, okay, we're projecting Freeling to guard. And where does he rank up at guard with Vega? And are we really gonna push Ronnie out of the door to play Freeling in a year?
Right.
I don't know if we're gonna do that if he's still a quality tackle. So, I mean, you could really go in either way, but I landed on Vega.
There you have it. Vega Yuan is the pick with the 14, assuming for purposes of what we're doing with the 14 pick in the 2026 NFL draft. That is the pick for the Baltimore Ravens. So I just go around the room before we sign off and get up out of here. What do y'all think? How y'all feel about this pick? How would you feel on Thursday if this was the pick?
I'm taking a shot if this is the pick.
Okay.
A celebratory shot.
Celebrate.
Me too. I don't think they go that route. We've had this conversation before, offline or online. I don't know. I forget. But I just think that their philosophy is going to have them in their ways. As far as the interior is concerned, I think EDC is a very arrogant man, and I think he feels like he can get back to those mid to later round offensive line hits. And I just think he's going to see round one guard, and he's going to be like, yeah, I could get something in the third. I could get something in the fourth. But if it does happen, I'll be happier than a pig and shit.
I would love it if it happened as well. I love the kid. I think he's great. I just think there's so much about him that is exactly what the Ravens need at this juncture. I think he's a perfect fit at the right time and comes in as a guy, like I've said from all the way through talking about him, that he's just a tone setter. And this team needs that. They need someone up front who sets the tone in the way that Yuan does as a blocker. So I just feel like it would be a home run pick, but I'm also with Chris in the sense that it doesn't feel very much like a Ravens pick. I think, interestingly, as we've gone through the process, I've started to think about Monroe Freeling a bit, and Monroe Freeling hits the thing that they do, which is like draft unicorns in the first round. They like to find guys who are just different athletically or size wise, and Freeling hits that. So does Faulk. There are other guys, I think, that hit the things that they love more so than Ioane. But I would love it if they did take him.
Go ahead, Kerry.
Totally agree with the group. I don't think that they're gonna pick Vega. I kind of just did it to take our own little stand here and maybe put some goodwill out there. If they pick Freeling, we still claim victory, is what I'm gonna say.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think in their mind, Simpson solidifies left guard. And in their mind, Emory Jones is their right guard. They think they can find guards and centers later. And I think in this scenario, they would pick Freeling. And Freeling, honestly, thinking about it, is probably pretty high up on the list of guys that I think that they would select, kind of like irregardless of this bracket. So yeah, it's one of those things, man. I don't think this would be the pick, but it would be nice if it is.
And it's something that we talked about when we were recording shows more regularly. Something we used to say a lot was we felt like there was a disconnect sometimes between the front office and the coaching staff with the players that were being selected versus how those players were being used or the type of opportunities that they were afforded. There just seemed like at times the connection wasn't there. And you hear that get talked about a lot with like the best teams. Like there's alignment all throughout the building, front office, coaches, players, all the rest of the staff, everybody that's involved with the organization. There's just alignment, right? Everybody's moving to the beat of the same drum. And sometimes we would wonder, is that really the case? So to me, if they were to pick Ioane, that would show me that, okay, maybe something different really is happening in terms of that, because this coaching staff and coach, you mentioned it, whether it's Mentor, whether it's Doyle, whenever these guys, Anthony Weaver, whenever these guys have had an opportunity to get in front of a mic, everybody talks about being physical.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talks about being physical and establishing that as their identity. So if all of my coaches are saying, look, these are the type of players, this is the identity we're trying to establish, and you have a player like Ioane, not to say, Freeling is not physical, because Chris talked about the mentality that he has, but, this, by all accounts, is somebody who's going to come in and set that type of tone, right? A real physical presence on the interior of your offensive line and in your room, right? You had that with Yonda for years. You had somebody who set a tone in your room with Marshall Yonda, and he wasn't even as big as Ioane. He wasn't, the same, physical, like dominating presence, but his mindset and the way he played on the field from the time the ball was snapped into maybe a couple seconds after the whistle blew, maybe a little bit longer, you were going to know what type of game you was in for. And that just set the tone in that room. And I think really even on the offense, right? You remember back to early 2019, Lamar's first year as a starter, that Seattle game. We going for it on fourth down. He go to Yonda. You want to go for it? He's like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So, he set that type of tone. So, can you get somebody else in here who has the physical ability, but also, can set that tone mentally on the line and throughout the rest of the offense and then throughout the rest of the team? If that's what the coaches are telling you they want, I think you got to listen to that. So we'll see. We'll see. I think we all a little bit skeptical whether EDC will actually do it. But if he does, like I said, then that's an indication to me that maybe something has changed, and it could be as simple as maybe his seat got real hot,
Mhm.
and he like, you know what? I just had to kick my boy up out of here, or my boy got kicked up out of here. I'm not gonna say he did it. My boy got put up out of here. I might be next if I don't start doing things that are really gonna help this team get in that alignment I was talking about and be consistent throughout the building.
Agreed.
So, any final words? Hey, we can call this thing good and get up out of here. We had an hour and almost 49 minutes. The deep cover OGs know how we get down.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with the pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, as usual, I want to thank each and every one of y'all out there for tapping in and watching and listening. Obviously, I want to thank Coach Evans, James, especially, staying up late. James, we appreciate that, man. We know time difference and everything that you got going on in terms of being a husband and a father. We appreciate you for that.
Yes,
and then Chris and Carrie, as always, couldn't do none of this without y'all. I mean, don't nobody want to hear me. So couldn't do none of this without having y'all on here. So I appreciate y'all as always, my brothers from another mother. So, hey, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. And we're going to get up out of here. Y'all be good.
See y'all Thursday.
Peace.
Stream is